Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 23rd of May 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the DAX. Just a quick update. So basically, what I kept saying throughout all my videos where I was talking about DAX, basically we're still keeping a close eye on this long-term downside resistance line taken from the high of January 2018. As you can see, the index kind of broke on Monday, broke below this downside resistance line, traveled lower, but kind of found good support near this 12,030 zone, from which it rebounded nicely and pushed back, and now it's kind of balancing around this downside resistance line again. So our game plan still remains the same. Again, if we see another slide below this 200 this long-term downside resistance line, then yep, we may consider a further push lower, but then again the downside could be limited due to this medium-term upside support line taken from the lowest point of December last year or so. But if that gets broken, then yep, we'll consider further declines here, but we'll, of course, for now we'll take it very carefully, very cautiously. We'll go just step by step. For now it may push a little bit higher again. The only thing is that for us to let's say get comfortable with higher areas, ideally we would like to see a nice good break above this level right here at around 12,320. This way the index could kind of open the door for itself towards slightly higher levels, and we could then target the so far the highest point of May, which is around the 12,440 area. And looking at but the only thing is that looking at the cash index right now and where DAX is currently, I mean, it seems that we may see this one opening here today with a gap to the downside. So the index is currently at around the 12,080 zone, something like that. So we may see it being somewhere around here, and to be honest, in that case this increases the chances for the German index to slide a little bit lower here, potentially, like I said, test this upside support line, and then we'll take it from there, see if it actually wants to break it. If it does, then yep, we could consider further declines. But if it let's say struggles to overcome this line, this medium-term upside support line, then we could see a nice rebound and maybe another push higher. So for now, guys, certainly, like I said, looking at the cash index right now, it is kind of on a slide, so we may see this one, so probably see this one opening with a gap to the downside. But again, be very cautious around this this upside support line, which probably by the time, let's say, the index could slide lower here, it may test again this 1230 zone, 12,030, or even the psychological 12,000 level itself. So and like I said, this is the upside line that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. For now, that's the kind of idea. Let's see how this is going to play out. It is a very tricky spot here for DAX, but again, let's try to squeeze something, at least something out of it. Platinum, very quickly, I talked about this one in on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, basically where I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this 800 level, so the psychological 800. So we're still around the 817 at that time. So but what I was saying that, yeah, we may see a slide lower, we may see a drop below the 808 zone approximately here, which previously acted as a good area of support, but it could test the psychological 800 level, and this is what happened exactly. So it tested the 800 but kind of never closed the 4-hour candle below that. So this of course creates this maybe an opportunity for some buyers to step in here and potentially maybe drive this one a little bit back up here for a small correction, but that's only of course in the situation if we continue seeing platinum trading above this psychological 800 level. If of course it starts dropping, and by the way, also just a quick mention, this is what I've mentioned in my previous video as well. So we may see an overshoot here of the 800 level, and we may see a test of the 795 level. So it played out just perfectly, and as I said, basically nice move here, but like I said, it never closed the 4-hour candle up below the 800 level. So this of course creates this nice potential atmosphere here for the bulls. Maybe they could maybe the platinum, the commodity could travel back up again. The only thing is that probably we'll take a slightly more cautious approach here and wait until we see a climb above the, or ideally a nice good close of the 4-hour candle, at least of a 4-hour candle above the 808 zone. This way we could target the 820 area again, or even actually going a little bit further up here back towards the 841 or something like that. So this proved to be a very nice area of support previously. This time could take the role of resistance. So for now that's the kind of situation, but don't rush into this yet, just because platinum is currently still below its pivot, so today's pivot. So that's why ideally we would like to see a nice good pushback over the 808 zone, and then we will target higher areas. In terms of the downside, well, we need to see that nice good break and a close below the 795 zone, and only then we'll consider further declines here to the downside. Let me just quickly put an arrow here for our future reference. The only thing is that we're not going to kind of drag this one drastically to the downside. Initially we will aim for the 780 zone, and then we'll take it from there. Ethereum, also I looked at this one on Thursday, and what I was saying that to keep a close eye on these two levels here. Even though we were at that point in time, we were still kind of within this little kind of somewhat of a triangle formation, but what I was saying that still we need to see that nice good break either above this level here at around 265 in order to kind of consider further moves higher, or we need to see that nice good clear break here and a close of the 4-hour candle below the 239 area, approximately there, before we could kind of aim for lower areas. For now it seems that that's the case. As you can see, by the way, I mean, yes, it did break the upper side first of this little triangle formation, but quickly failed to break above the 265 and then sold off, and now it's kind of breaking this 239 zone, which is not really a good sign for Ethereum, this in a way is now kind of opening the path towards the 223 area. So for now that's going to be our target. We'll see if it actually manages to reach that. If it reaches that, that's great. That's a good spot, good potential support zone, also near its 100 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So for now, keep your eyes on this one. We are more bearish than bullish on this one, but then again only up until 223 area. Then we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do. If it finds if it gets rejected here, and if it fails to drop lower, then we may see the bulls kind of kicking in again here and potentially maybe driving this one a little bit higher. So euro dollar, very quickly on this one. So I looked at this one a while ago, and to be honest, you can see by the arrow it's kind of shifted here a little bit. So what we are looking here for is basically still we're keeping a close eye on this 1.1120 zone, or even actually slightly below that. Let me just put this one on the chart quickly. 1.1110 zone, approximately there. So, which marks the low here of the 26th of April. Excuse me. For us now, of course, all this kind of activity here is not really looking good for the euro dollar. Of course, given the fact that also the dollar index is strengthening and pushing a lot of putting a lot of pressure here on the pairs where they're trading with the dollar together. So in other words, euro dollar is now kind of on a possible move lower. The only thing it's currently getting held here near this key area of support around the 1.1145. Now, in a way, if we do see a nice good break and ideally a close of the 4-hour candle below the 1.1145, this could potentially lead towards the 1.1135. I do understand it's only about 10 pips away, but we'll keep it short and simple. As you can see that the euro dollar lately is not moving that much, so that's why we're going to keep these levels tight. Like I said, if the 1.1135 fails, then yep, we could see a further slide lower here, and then we will target this 1.1120 or the 1.1110, and then we'll just take it from there, see if it wants to travel further down or not. But in terms of the upside here, we need to see that nice good pop above the 1.1175 before we could consider higher areas again. But then again, the higher areas could be the upside could be limited due to this downside resistance line taken from the high of January. So keep your eyes on this one, and keep your eyes on the 1.1175 here on the upside. On the downside is the 1.1145 level that we're keeping a close eye on. AUDCAD very quickly, finally showing some good signs. The only thing is that still these good signs, I mean, could be short-lived due to this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 17th of April. The pair continues to trade below it. Of course, it's quite kind of far away now from that line, but what's interesting here is that the pair managed to find good relatively good support near the 0.9195 zone and kind of rebounded from there, and now today it's trading above its pivot, which is creating this nice positive atmosphere for AUDCAD. In a way, it could travel higher, it could break these yesterday's highs near the 0.9249 zone, and it could continue pushing higher. And if we do see something like this, if we do see another climb above the 21 EMA here shown as the yellow line, we could see a more correction here to the upside. We will target the 0.93 and 10 area, 0.9315, something like that, approximately there, and this is where it could also test the downside resistance line as well. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on this. Let's see, like I said, let's see how this is going to play out. Our level again, what we're watching is the 0.9249 ideally, or even you can for that just kind of better peace of mind here, a break of the 0.9250. Yep, that could be that gateway towards slightly higher levels here, but then again, like I said, the upside could be limited due to this downside resistance line. So keep your eyes on this one. USDCAD very quickly. Now this is a very messy chart, but worked out very nicely. So I looked at this one recently and in one of my previous videos, and where I was saying that this is what we could have, and at the time when I was looking at this pair, we were kind of already broke this this level here, this key area of support near the 1.3370. But what I was saying, that we need to see that nice good close of the 4-hour candle below it before we could consider further declines, but that never happened, as you can see, and the bulls started pushing this one higher again toward the 1.3450. Now this is a bit of a roller coaster here on the USD CAD, but it's coming in line with this potential idea of seeing a nice range here. So the pair basically is ranging here now between these 1.3370 and the 1.35 zone. So for now, what we're going to do here is, if we see another push above the 1.3450, that's great for the bulls. We could see a further climb towards the 1.35 area, and then we'll take it from there, see if it actually wants to break it again or not. But we're not gonna kind of speculate on this one too much. But that's for now. Like I said, we will consider the upside if we see a nice good close of the 4-hour candle above the 1.3450. If it fails to close above it, then we may see a small correction again, potentially something like this happening, where we could see a slide, maybe a test of this 200 EMA here shown as the black line, and then we'll take it from there. If it struggles to overcome it, then we may see a nice curve here, some more buying activity around here, and then a push higher back towards the 1.3450. If it travels below the 200 EMA, this is where we will consider again the lower side of this range, around the 1.3370, and we'll just again take it from there, see how it's going to perform near this area. And the last pair very quickly I wanted to touch on, and that's USDJPY. Now, I talked about this one yesterday, and this is what I was saying, guys. So even if we see it a drop back below the 110.25, still we have this nice upside tentative support line. And you can see that it traveled lower, traveled below the 110.25. It stayed below. It closed the 4-hour candle below it, but kind of never managed to break below this upside support line. So, excuse me. So this is, for now, it's working out nicely according to the plan, and but still, before, let's say, we consider the downside, we need to see that nice good break here below the psychological 110 level. Of course, this would initially lead to a break of this upside support line, but ideally, like I said, for better confirmation, a nice good break and a close of the 4-hour candle below the 110 level could potentially send this one further down towards the 109.70, or even further towards the 109.29 area. In terms of the upside, well, we're going to be very cautious here, very careful. We're going to take a very conservative approach and wait until we see a push back, well, not back, but a push above the 110.67 area, approximately there, marked by the highs of Tuesday. And of course, this would also place the pair above the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, shown as the black line. And this, of course, would create this nice potential positive atmosphere here for another possible move higher. This this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, all this could be seen as a nice good, like I said, opportunity for the bulls to step in and drive this one higher. But again, like I said, we'll wait for that break of the 110.67 level first before we could consider higher areas. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you want to join me later on at my Traders Tea Time, as always, that's 13:15 GMT time. For now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.